I wanted to make a video that summarized everything that I learned in the past semester. In the last semester, I actually took 3 courses. And the first I'm going to talk to you about was supply chain management. It was basically a supply chain management course that specialized in the empirical studies that have been made. I learned a lot from that course, and if I would have to pick one, I probably would pick that as the course from which I learned the most, and that's because my background is in engineering, so we are focused more on the mathematical aspect of the supply chain. And in that course, I had the opportunity to actually see how someone who would make an empirical study would actually make one. The takeaway from that course would be that if you pair an empirical study with a mathematical study, you would probably be able to do more than with just pure empirical or pure mathematical or OR study. The problem is that since empirical studies are typically very subjective, you might have trouble posting and defending how your study is actually relevant. The other course I took was network designs. In that course, we saw a lot of different networks and systems and how people have typically designed them in terms of models, operations research. That's what I mean when I say OR. And I learned a lot about them. The ones that made the most impact on me were the freight rail system. We learned a lot about how trains are divided according to what each wagon carries. And we also talked about city logistics, which is basically taking into account that in the city you have the most traffic of normal people like you and me, and at the same time you have to distribute goods, but you don't want to alter the day-to-day life of those normal people. So the trucks that go into the city can actually take a huge toll on the pollution, on traffic jams, and so on, and the various different alternatives that are available and that researchers have used to counteract that bad influence in the system that those freight transportation have, such as implementing hubs where all the goods would stop at that hub, and after there they would be divided and they would be taken by smaller vehicles, usually green vehicles. This could also mean that they are taken in by bicycles, and in that way you don't pollute the city and you create less traffic jams. The other class I took was robust optimization. That was like the hardest one of the 3. In robust optimization, what I've learned in general is that basically when you build an operations research model or a mathematical model, you're taking into account certain parameters and certain estimations, but you don't know for sure if those estimations are gonna be true in the moment where you actually get to execute that plan. Let's say I have planned to run the train stations, right? So I have the schedule of all the trains, but I don't know if all of a sudden I predicted that on Sundays I would have the most traffic, but it turns out that there was a disturbance in the system. Therefore, you have that uncertainty introduced into the system, and uncertainty is something that is normal in day-to-day life. So basically in that course we learned how to estimate that uncertainty, how to design for, in a way, like an interval of confidence so that you have flexibility in terms of what you plan for. Those are the 3 courses I took last semester, and basically, in a nutshell, what I learned from all of them.
Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Missed the previous video? Click on that clip right there.
Bye! Whew, it's really cold.